out is 3 5-minute rounds in the bantamweight division. Introducing your first warrior. Fighting out of the blue corner, this man's a mixed martial artist with a perfect professional record of 1 win and no losses. He stands 185 centimeters tall and weighs a ready 61.65 kilograms. Representing Sharyukia team and fighting out of Rostov-on-Don, Russia. Please welcome Vadim Pavlikov. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner. This man's a mixed martial artist with a perfect professional record of 1 win and no losses. He stands 174 centimeters tall and weighs a ready 61.65 kilograms. Representing Velas Gym and fighting out of Vladikavkaz, Russia. Give it up for Alan Balaev. Your referee is Yevgeny Olensevich.
At the distinct advantage, everything else virtually identical. Here we go, a little bit of show respect to these young fighters. Big overhand straight away, but then gets caught with a counter hook from Vadim. Balaev this dance early. Oh, and lands a beautiful straight right down the pipe. Dives into the closed guard now of Vadim Pavlikov. I'm sure at this stage, playing a little bit of rubber guard as Pavlikov, using those long limbs, but at such a young age, he's going to have to take a deep breath now, reassess, and really see where he's at in this fight, Kieran.
He is. Right now, he's in essentially a defensive guard, which I think is where he wants to be. He needs to clear his head, come up with a little bit of a different game plan, because his first one didn't work.
Nice framing off from Balaev, but he needs to follow those hips. He can't let Pavlikov create those angles, throw up those long legs, for the legs of a triangle. Beautiful elbows from Alan here in that top position.
Phil, this is the difference between the pros and the amateurs. You can have an extensive amateur career, you can be very used to the sport at that level, but when those elbows come down, it is a whole new world.
He's really so young at 18 years old. Pavlikov has that flexibility and dexterity. Someone like me at 33 years old can't get away with playing rubber guard. Let's see what Balaev's trying to do. Frame off, crash that elbow right into the cranium of his opponent. Nice, consistent, persistent top pressure here from Balaev. But what does Vadim Pavlikov need to do as the man on the bottom?
He needs to stand. He needs to create a little, he needs to get that foot on the hip, and he needs to try and stand so he can get back up to standing and then take his opponent
the
down.
arm bar.
Having said that,
oh, and rolls it. That looks tight. He's got the hips into it. Beautiful escape, but escape and rolls right into the triangle. What a change in fortune this could be.
Still,
if
I think that's
get the angle.
I do not see an escape from here. Let's see if that leg gets underhooked.
If he underhooks that leg, it's essentially game over, but crashing elbows. That leg is there to be underhooked. And has he got it again? Cinching up that triangle.
He's looking for the armbar as well.
Oh, triangle armbar combination. This looks tight. Referee taking a long, hard look at this. Pavlikov taking everything he can into it. Tightens up that triangle, but again, readjusts. Perhaps showing a little bit of youthful naivety there by not underhooking the leg, Kieran. Cutting that angle so tight. Now if he underhooks that leg, he gets so much more pressure. Triangle armbar, but Balaev staying in.
Oh, Bill, how tough is he? He's Russia tough.
Wow, Alan Balaev with some serious staying power. Then if you look into the corner of Balaev, who's that in his corner, Kieran?
I believe we're looking at the great Master K.
That's bound to give you confidence if you have Master K in your corner and strike fear into the heart of your opponent too. You have to wonder, what about the cardio situation now? Has Pavlikov put everything into those submission attempts?
It's not just the physical side of it. There's also the mental side of it. When you get very, very close to submission and you think you've won, if you don't stay in control of your emotions, there can be a huge crash afterwards.
Balaev needs to be smart now. He's been in those precarious positions due to the submission offense of Pavlikov, so he needs to square off the hips every opportunity.
Looking for an ninja choke, denied.
Balaev needs to be wary of having that arm out. You see the wrist control grip there of Pavlikov. May open the guard, switch the hips and try and throw up that armbar again. But then also on the flip side of that, Kirk, you have to wonder if the arm of Balaev has been compromised by these armbar attempts.
Ordinarily, with a fighter a little further in his career, 28, 29, I think it might, given the youth of these fighters, I think that elbow's probably okay.
Just how dangerous he is throwing his hips up. That's an elbow for his trouble. Big ground and pound being landed by Balaev. Pavlikov trying to stay active, opening the guard, trying to create angles for himself, but Balaev again, after that early scare, is going to be watching his P's and Q's when it comes to his jiu-jitsu.
Less than a minute to go in this great round, Brave Nation.
That has absolutely flown in. Feet on the hip now. This Pavlikov again goes back to that closed guard position, trying to overhook an arm and pull that head down. Nice work from Balaev there to be aware of the submission threat. But right now he needs to square those hips off a little bit more for my liking. Posturing up on a knee. Knee shield in momentarily from Pavlikov. Trying to grab wrist control, perhaps trying to stuff an arm down. Potential triangle here in the closing stanzas. I'm enjoying those little pot shot elbows we see from Balaev, Kirk. Very, very intelligent work.
Very intelligent and very unusual for a fighter so green.
May try and land one big shot over the top to do something definitive in the round.
Round ends. Absolutely phenomenal round for Vadim. Bill, we've seen his game from the bottom. I would love to see next round what he can pull off from top.
I think it might be, we've seen just how good that top game is of Balaev, but it was the initial striking that put Vadim on the ground. So for me, I would like to see Balaev try and keep the fight within that boxing range, that boxing distance, instead of diving into the guard and essentially having to be aware of not just his own strikes, but also the submission threat from Vadim Pavlikov.
Absolutely, and there we saw that devastating strike that put his opponent on the ground. That right there is what he needs to do more of, but he's not going to do it when he's inside his opponent's guard.
You think now after that first round, he's going to be aware that he has the power in his hands, maybe not be as frenetic to dive into the guard, but attempted the hitchhiker escape there to come out the back, landed in that triangle. Both these guys are very much still in this fight, Kerry.
They are, and I think both of them know what they knew going into this fight. One of them's got the edge in grappling, one of them's got the edge with the hands. They're both going to try and make their will be done, starting in just a couple of seconds, Brave Nation.
It's going to be interesting to see if Balaev keeps the fight standing, potentially drops his opponent, maybe lets him stand up again, or if Vadim's going to try and find that range, try and pump out that jab, make something happen. Again, another show of respect from these two young, hungry fighters. Big front kick. This is not Sparta. This is Rostov-on-Don. Big winging shots here from Balaev, trying to end the fight early. Jumping knee attempt from Pavlikov. And interestingly, it's Alan Balaev that gets in on the takedown.
A double leg on the grappler is not what I expected in this bout, but we are in Russia where everybody can fight in every way there is.
Nice tie clinch attempted there from Pavlikov. Balaev now pressed up against the fence, and Vadim has him exactly where he wants him, right in front of his corner. Again, beautiful frame off elbows. Nice work from Balaev to get out, and right now, it's Vadim Pavlikov that looks like the fresher fighter. Big knee landed. Pressing Balaev up against the cage, and these knees are landing out well. He can't absorb too many more of these. And an elbow. This could be the beginning of the end.
Referee's on top of it.
And how tough is Alan Balaev in the first? What a pace these guys are setting for the rest of the show.
Oh, liver shot.
Big slip and rip to the body. Nice work on the jab. And again, a huge knee. Alan Balaev just taking these shots. This is not sustainable for a career in martial arts. If you're Vadim Pavlikov, you must be wondering, what do I have to hit Balaev with? Literally putting his heart, soul, everything into the strikes he's throwing here, Kerry.
Pavlikov may have gotten hit clean. He may have thrown a little bit too much. He's looking a little bit compromised physically.
If anything, Balaev looks like he's absorbed those power shots and it's given him a little bit of power. Scores a beautiful takedown, but how do you even begin to break down this fight? Close guard here, Pavlikov. Trying to create the angle for himself, has that knee shield in. Balaev needs to be very, very careful here, progresses into the side control position.
Be very interesting to see if he tries to get all the way to top side or if he's comfortable staying in top half guard. Given the skills of the opponent, I think he wants to try and get all the way to side control.
A lot of fighters are happy to sit in this anchor position and land big shots just like that elbow, but the danger is that your opponent can reclaim guard a little bit more easily, just as Pavlikov has done. Guard is open right now. Be ready for a potential switch in the hips from Pavlikov. Balaev just maybe trying to get a little bit of his composure back in this position, Keurig.
Vadim Pavlikov has a very entertaining,
watch out.
very aggressive guard.
Again, has that wrist control, trying to stuff that arm down between his legs and throw his own leg up.
For guillotine now.
Balaev has the potential.
May turn into a sweep and may go right back to the guillotine.
Again, both of these gentlemen have expended a lot of energy. There's bound to be an almost insurmountable degree of lactic acid built up in those muscles.
Key lock attempt.
Balaev needs to be wary here of just how dangerous this guard is. Potential for a triangle here. Pavlikov trying to loop that arm up. Elbows from the bottom there from Pavlikov. But Pavlikov, for the most part here, he can't afford to be on his back. He can't finish another round on his back, Keurig. What would you be telling him if you're in the corner right now?
I don't know the judges here. If I did, I might be able to tell you a lot of judges penalize a fighter on his back.
Yeah.
But some of them recognize effective aggression when they see it. They recognize good striking from the bottom. They recognize submission attempts as having the potential to cause damage. Right now, he is, having said that, he is leaving in the hands of the judges, and that's not ordinarily what you want to do in mixed martial arts.
Into the final minute of the second round here. Again, Alan Balaev on top, landing big shots, framing off beautifully. Pavlikov looked momentarily a little bit despondent there. Balaev finishing the round very strong, passing into side control. And again, what a way for Alan Balaev to finish the round, Keurig.
It's exactly what I thought he should do. It was a little fight for an underhook. It appears 100% as if Balaev is going to be able to maintain that top side control. If he can land a couple of shots, it may count hugely in the judges' assessment of this round.
So even if he's not necessarily landing incredible damage, what he's doing is, in the eyes of the judges, finishing in the dominant top position.
First round, there was little question in my mind. Second round, there's a lot more. Ending that in topside control could be the deciding factor.
So many interesting components and variables in this fight. And at 19 years old and 18 years old, respectively, I think we can say that Russian mixed martial arts is in very safe hands moving forward, Keurig.
It sure is. And look at the conditioning of both these athletes. Nobody even bothered to bring a stool in here. Not necessary. One fighter, fine sitting on the mat. The other one's going to stay standing. Absolutely unbelievable conditioning. And speaking of unbelievable, Phil, walk us through this Green Hill replay.
Massive front kick to open up, but then Balaev just absolutely putting everything into these shots, firing off a beautiful jab. And here we'd see him, like, that's the type of shot would drop most fighters. What he was able to do was absorb serious punishment, which not only tires out your opponent, but psychologically, he has to be wondering what else he has to do to get the edge. Third and final round coming up in the opening bout here at Brave Combat Federation 55 in collaboration with Pro FC. And what a way to start the card, Keurig Janess.
Balaev, no doubt in my mind, is looking to land a huge shot and end this. I'd like to see him not go for a takedown again. Not sure that's to his advantage. Third and final round, Brave Nation. Fighters embrace, showing the sportsmanship that is characteristic of the Brave Cage, and now we're going to get the action. That's characteristic of the Brave Cage.
Again, big winging, looping shots from the man with the boxing background, and parlays that into the double leg attempt. Pavlikov trying to hit the switch here, creating a little bit of distance, pushing the hip of his opponent away. As the hands connected underneath the backside, we could be seeing the takedown. Beautiful switch attempt there from Pavlikov. Heavy, heavy hips on the sprawl. Such a draining position, and now in a 50-50, but Vadim comes out the back.
One hook attempt. If we get a situation with 2 hooks in, I do believe that'll be the end of the night for this fight.
I'm sensing a lot of urgency on the part of the corner of Vadim Pavlikov, trying to get those long limbs around his opponent. Potential to switch to a body triangle here instead of trying to get the hooks in if he wants.
Particularly given his long legs, Phil, I think he's got a frame that's made for that body triangle.
Now landing big shots. There's one hook in if he can just maneuver ever so slightly. Doesn't quite have it.
Alon very intelligently keeping his hips very tight against that cage, so there's no space for that second hook to go in.
Nice wrist control work from Pavlikov there.
Pavlikov is now he's trying to pull his opponent away from that fence to make space to get that second hook in. If he can, as I said, could be the end.
Nice elbow there from, oh, he's underneath the chin, but he didn't have hooks there. Nice work from Balaev to use that underhook on the leg to get up and then transition into the single. Vadim doing the right thing by trying to push the head down, but Balaev is just so insistent with, when he has something in his mind, he's so insistent with it. We've seen that. Trying to kick the leg out of his opponent. Good balance from Vadim Pavlikov. Very back and forth here in the third and final round of the opening bout here in Rostov-on-Don, Russia. Beautiful elbows. And he may have hurt him there, Kirik. Pavlikov trying to sneak in that Dagestani handcuff, but Balaev cannot be denied, cannot be held down.
Neither fighter can. There is nothing like the determination of a Russian athlete, and nothing like those 2 determinations going head-to-head.
And after this kind of a fight, it's just, as much as we've been treated to incredible mixed martial arts, it's such a shame that someone's going to have to take a loss away from this.
Both fighters are going to walk away with here, head held high, full of pride. This is a tremendous fight for fighters this early in their career.
2 minutes left to go here, and again it's Vadim Pavlikov trying to take the back, imposing his will on Balaev. Balaev constantly trying to turn defense into offense here. A little bit of separation.
There we go.
And this is exactly where Balaev wants the fight. He wants to land that one big hitter quitter over the top. And
Again, Phil, I think getting in on those hips is not a wise move. He's had great success in this fight with that big right, with a looping left. I'd love to see just a little more of it before time runs out in about 70 seconds.
Now, as I say, is that perhaps a little bit of youthful inexperience on the part of Balaev? Because that is something we see quite common in amateur mixed martial arts, the strikes to get in on the takedowns.
Youthful inexperience, and I think heart. I think it's also a sign of great heart. He wants to show he's a proud fighter. He wants to show he can beat him everywhere.
Oh, no,
but I don't think he's going to beat him on the ground.
This would be disastrous. Choking to his corner. He wasn't paying attention. Oh, and what a turn of events, reminding me of what happened in Japan many years ago. Can't remember who it was, but Shinya Aoki was the guy who implemented the choke. The guy said, "Hi, Japan," got choked, and there was a little bit of that. Balaev looked over to his corner for some kind of assistance, and in doing so exposed his neck. What an unfortunate way to lose, but both these young gentlemen have quite clearly enhanced their reputation in mixed martial arts. I would love to see that finish again to see if that was the crowning moment. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We're seeing the choke. If possible, I'd love to see just a little bit before the choke was put in.
That is tight, that is sunk, that is all over.
Again, it was that moment where perhaps the inexperience showed, where he heard his corner say something. Instead of just absorbing the information, he looked up to the corner, and in doing so, incrementally lifted the neck and exposed it to Vadim Pavlikov.
There's an old saying in mixed martial arts, there's no such thing as losses, only lessons, and I do think that's a lesson of this bout. Brave Nation, if you haven't been in there in the cage, it is crucially important to be able, in the middle of a fight, you're landing shots, you're taking shots, you have to keep your ears open and listen to your corner. That's why fighters will try and get a takedown right next to their corner, and that's why it's very, very dangerous when you look over to your corner for guidance. You got to do it. You have to look with your ears in this case.
Official tabulation being done right now, just making sure we get the correct time, making sure we get everything right. As there's a little bit of a translation barrier, it may take a little bit, ever so slightly longer than possible, but Carlos Kramer is about to make his way into the cage and make things official. But as I say, Kieran, both these young men enhancing their mixed martial arts reputation. Vadim moving to 2-0, Alan Balaev 1-1, but as you say, lessons learned moving forward in his career.
The Roaring Lion, Carlos Kramer, is in the Brave Combat Federation cage, and he's going to make it official.
All right, Brave Nation, what a way to start our night. This bout comes to an end at 3 minutes and 56 seconds of the third round. Your winner by rear naked choke, Vadim